13 to radio. I have a 28. Mike, Echo, India, November, Delta, Lima. You copy?
Hello. So today I got something a little bit different for you. As you know, normally I wear and have done some videos on Pacific Northwest boots. And the boot of choice that I normally wear, the manufacturer is Frank's out of Spokane, Washington. About a little over a month ago, there was an ice storm here, and I was going around asking some of the linemen what they wore. And the responses that I was thinking I was going to hear was the traditional lineman boot that's been around for generations, which is basically a Pacific Northwest boot with a much taller shaft. But interestingly enough, what I actually received for responses was manufacturers like MEINDL, which is what we're going to look at today. Kenetrek was mentioned quite a bit, and I even heard Scarpa. And then of course the traditional lineman boot. But it seems that some of these manufacturers are starting to make inroads into the lineman segment. So I wanted to find out what was so special about these particular boots. Now, MEINDL is a company that is based in Germany. They were founded, we're talking generations. I think it's in its 11th generation right now. And their manufacturing facility is just outside of Munich in Bavaria. Now, they started making boots, or started cobbling, or whatever you want to call it, back in the late 1580s. So this, they've been around for a very, very, very long time. So what drove me to this boot, and this boot is called the Super Perfect. It is a backpacking / hiking, I suppose you might be able to classify it as a mountaineering boot in some instances. But what drove me to this boot is it is closest to the gold standard here in the United States for a hand-sewn boot. And what I mean by that is, let's look at Frank's. Frank's is, as far as I'm concerned, is at the very top. They have a stitch-down construction with a McKay stitch. They can also do a hand-rolled Norwegian welt. And that's what brings us to the Super Perfect. All right, here we've got the MEINDL, made in Germany, Super Perfect. Wow, fancy. Comes with an instruction manual. Or, well, history, I guess, on MEINDL. And it's written in German, so, okay. This looks like boots from when we were kids. And this is leather lined too.
Oh my God.
Well, it's quite the boot. Like that. Alright, well, I guess I'll get them put on and go from there. Very nice. The Super Perfect actually utilizes a triple stitch Norwegian welt. I mean, it's impressive. Now, this boot is not built. It is forged. I'm telling you, it is forged for a purpose, and that purpose is to take you places that you thought impossible. I mean, this boot is a beast, and it's very, very, very well built. And it's large, it is heavy, but it's all those things that you look for in a boot where you have some, you know, where you're gonna need the technical ability to navigate some of these terrains. So again, if we take a look at this here, I'll come a little bit closer to the camera here. So this is the boot that we're talking about here, the Super Perfect. It is, I'm just going to call it a hiking boot, although it is more than that. Now, what's interesting about this is this leather. They say it's like military grade leather. I mean, it's thick leather basically is what it comes down to. But if you look at the surface of this boot, it actually looks like rhino linings. I mean, it's it's really interesting. I think it's more like a waxed flesh maybe, but it's very, very stiff. And even the sole is stiff. Now you do have a thick slip sole here, and then you've got a leather midsole, and then you've got the outsole, which is a Vibram. Now you do want a stiff boot when you're out doing your you know, hiking and whatnot, and navigating those terrains. Now let's take a look at the inside here. The inside of the boot, as you can see, is white. Now, that's leather. It is leather lined. And let me tell you, it is very, very comfortable. It also has an air active insole. Now, this boot looks like it would be very uncomfortable, but I will tell you that is not the case. It is a very comfortable boot. And I've worn it now for 2 12-hour shifts on concrete. And again, not what it's designed for, but that's my work. That's what I do. And in comparison, it's very comfortable. It's more comfortable than some of the other boots starting out. So your Pacific Northwest boots are very, very, very stiff. They take some time to break in. I can see where this is going to take some time to break in, but it's not, you know, overpowering to the point where it's painful and I have to change into something else. So this boot is, to kind of give you an idea, as far as the lacing is concerned, these first D-rings here, or these D-rings here, and the first 2 hooks here are double riveted. And then you've got single rivets up here. And then you've got double rivets here at the top. So again, very well built. This is built with a whole piece, meaning that there's no seams here except for the very back. So this right here is all one piece. Even the tongue here is all part of this one piece. And it serves a couple of purposes. I had talked to Jeff Mitchell, who is kind of a boot authority, and he has his own channel called Brothers in Boots. And he was telling me that one of the reasons they do this is to get the laces further up towards the toe, which makes sense to me. My initial thought was it reduces the seams here, or eliminates the seams here, so you don't get abrasions and you don't lose stitching. But both are true. So this tongue is interesting that it does have, again, it's part of this whole piece, and you've got a separate piece up here. It is fully gusseted. And then if you open this up, you can see that it's got some Velcro here, and you've got a tongue pad. or it's a second tongue. I don't know how they describe that, but that's how I'm going to describe it. Again, Vibram outsole. This boot is, I'm very impressed. Like I said, here in the United States, the closest thing that you're going to find to this boot is going to be something from like Frank's, where it is stitched down and McKay stitch, or it is built with a Norwegian hand-rolled welt. So let's take a look at this welt stitching here. And if you look at it, there are 3 stitches here. So this upper is actually flared out just like a stitch down, but then there's 3 separate stitches that go in here and it ties in the upper and the midsole and the insole. So it ties all that stuff in, so it's a very durable bond. And there's, I think the only glue you're really going to find in here is probably going to be in the bottom of the boot, you know, the sole. Yeah, there's the backstay, and again that covers the seam that's back there. But I'm excited to get out and do some hiking in this. Living here in the North Georgia mountains, we'd have some trails and whatnot. Plus, my wife was just sending me some information about some waterfalls that she wants to go see in North Carolina. So this is the boot that I will be wearing. In the United States, MEINDL is sold through MEINDL USA, which is based in Sidney, Nebraska, and that's actually that's my home state. I'm originally from Omaha, so and that was exciting. I talked to Dan there, and he kind of guided me through some of the initial questions that I had about this boot, because they do offer a couple of other boots that do have the Norwegian welt as well, or Norwegian stitch, or however you want to phrase that. But this is the top of the line. I would expect to see this boot do very well here in the United States for people that are very serious about hiking and stuff like that. But again, it's not a light boot. It's not light at all. This boot, you can use crampons on this boot. There's no modifications really that need to be made. So anyone that's doing some technical climbing, like on glaciers and stuff like that, they could certainly, you know, use the crampons. So very versatile boot, very comfortable boot. Like I said, heavy. The thing is built like a damn tank. I don't know of anyone that's really building a hiking boot like this. Danner does make one, but it's, you know, this boot way overshadows that boot. And again, I don't think that boot is necessarily intended to compete with this. This boot, it does have some competition in some other brands, and I'll review those later. But I was really excited to do this from a MEINDL standpoint, or a hiking boot standpoint, manufactured by MEINDL. So if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to, you know, hit me up, ask away. I'll be glad to answer anything. But just keep in mind, right now I've only worn this boot for less than a week. So we'll take another look at it in a month or two and see how things are going. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Not merely built, but forged. When God asked the Archangel Michael what his choice was to wear on his feet as he went into battle, his reply was the MEINDL Super Perfect.